Now, unfortunately, we know that for many of us, the shift in Ramadan, the focus, the mindset turns towards food. We're fasting, so obviously we are very aware of the fact that we're not eating. But many people spend their entire day longing for that moment of iftar, wondering what mommy will be making or their wives will be making or what food would appear on the table. And unfortunately, many, mostly women of course, but people who prepare the food, there's obviously a lot of love that comes with preparing food for your family, and I'm sure that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewards us immensely for having this mercy and wanting to feed our families and spoil our children who are fasting for the first time and encourage them, make it an enjoyable experience. But unfortunately, this results and has resulted with moving across the world and the age of the internet and just old traditions. We now have our traditional foods, that industrialized modern non-foods, and so there is laden table at a time when we should be living a more modest way of life, when our food should be more simple, when our focus should not be on the food, but on the overall spiritual benefit of this time of year. By understanding the benefit of fasting, the physical, the spiritual, the overall benefit, my dua is that all of us will start to rethink our Ramadans and our children and what they learn and what our future generations will take on from us. That we let go of this culinary indulgence and we align more closely, inshallah, with the true purpose of Ramadan. The good news is that when we make these changes and we eat the right foods, supporting these processes that I've discussed earlier, the results are immense. The benefits are almost immediate, and the feeling of well-being, the boost if you're trying to memorize Quran, if you're trying to make more ibadah, your energy that you get from eating the right foods is just astounding. The problem is that what we have at the moment is a number of things. The first thing I'll address is excess calorie intake. Now, of course, when we fast, we've given our guts that rest, and when we eat again, very soon after Maghrib, after iftar, comes Isha and Taraweeh, and depending on how far away from the masjid you live, you may not have enough time to eat. So what we find is that people snack instead of choosing food intelligently, giving their body what it needs to support it. There are samosas, pakoras, chili bites, mini pizzas, and all of these fried treats that are in front of you, which are really not healthy for you. And what happens is that people snack on those and then may have a bowl of soup or whatever it is, and then go to pray, come back and eat another meal. And so what we find in some studies, unfortunately, is that there is excess calorie intake, in excess of what people eat out of the month of Ramadan. Can you believe that? Because what happens is that sleep cycles shift. What some people do in Ramadan is that they sleep throughout the day, thus missing out on the benefits of prayer in the day. And so they mess up their diurnal rhythm. They go against what is supposed to happen, which is you're supposed to continue with your normal day. That's how you get the benefits, that when the sun is up, you're awake and you're doing all your work and everything is usual. And then you sleep at night. That's what we're supposed to align to. But what happens is that people sleep throughout the day and then they stay awake the whole night. And when they're awake the whole night, they can eat the whole night. So the benefit of experiencing the fast in the waking hours is completely lost, and then that sleep cycle is switched. So this means that there's excess calories being taken in, and that is a trigger. It's the number one stimulus for diabetes through insulin resistance. It's too much. The fridge and the pantry are all full, and the body has to now stuff all of that excess energy into fat in places in the body where we shouldn't have fat. So number one was excess calorie intake, and we find that in some studies 60% of participants, they showed a weight gain after the period of Ramadan, okay? And this is all due to these things I've mentioned. The second point is the choice of food. Now, we know what's on the tables, the soft drinks, the processed foods, so out of a box, or the chemicals, additives, preservatives, the packaged foods itself, highly processed, contains excess levels of sugar, unhealthy fats that are used to make these products, and these have been associated very clearly with development of type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and other conditions. The next point is high sugar consumption. There's a lot of sugar that's going into the milkshake with the ice creams, and the ice cream that's eaten afterwards, and the desserts, and the flour. Flour actually turns into sugar. The flour-rich rotis and pakoras and samosas, all of these things lead to an excess, a spike in your sugar. These have been clearly documented to raise inflammation in the body. We just spoke about how fasting is designed to reduce inflammation. Now here we go, and we push it up at that time when we can be doing so much better to look after this body. Fats and oils, a lot of people use these big bottles of sunflower oil, canola oil, all of these oils that are highly processed in order to get them that way, and they are very damaging to the body. They're pro-inflammatory. It messes up our balance of omega-3 to 6. We should have more omega-3 that we get from things like salmon and avocado and nuts, certain nuts, but it gives us much higher omega-6, which is associated with inflammation, diabetes, metabolic syndrome, cardiovascular diseases, cancers.